Walk into the cereal aisle and look at the promises before you look at the food. Whole grain, heart healthy, protein, fiber, real fruit, essential vitamins. A bowl designed to start your family's day the right way. Now turn those boxes around. A cereal can lead with whole grain and still deliver 12, 13, or 16 grams of added sugar in one labeled serving. A cereal can advertise protein while using multiple sweeteners to create the flavor. A Bran cereal can provide real fiber and still take nearly 1/3 of the FDA's daily value for added sugar before the milk is poured. And the serving size printed on the box may be smaller than the bowl sitting in your kitchen. Cereal is different from candy because it asks to be mistaken for breakfast. Grain, vitamins, fruit pictures, athletes, hearts, and words such as natural and wholesome create a complete story on the front. The back often tells a more complicated one. A 2020 review in the journal Nutrients found that child-targeted food packaging frequently uses characters, colors, games, and health-related cues to shape attention and preference. A 2022 systematic review in Frontiers in Nutrition reached a similar conclusion. Package elements can influence what children choose and how much they want to eat. That does not mean every colorful cereal is harmful. It means the box is part of the product, and the marketing begins before the first spoonful. Today we are examining 10 specific cereals sold across the United States, starting with products that have genuine strengths but a larger health halo than their labels justify, and ending with the biggest mismatch between the front of the box and the numbers on the side. Then we will reveal 5 better picks with lower added sugar, stronger whole grain foundations, or simpler ingredient lists. This is not a list of poisonous cereal. Fortified cereal can contribute iron, folate, B vitamins, and other nutrients. The problem is using one positive feature to distract from everything else. We compared current United States labels available during production. Formulas change, so the package in your store is the final authority. We examined added sugar, fiber, protein, sodium, ingredient order, serving size, and the front panel promise. We ranked the named product, not every cereal made by its parent company. Keep 2 FDA numbers in mind. The daily value for added sugar is 50 grams. The daily value for fiber is 28 grams. One number tells you how quickly sweetness accumulates. The other tells you whether the grain is delivering something substantial in return. Let's begin. Number 10. Special K Original. This is the red dress cereal. The box that spent years presenting breakfast as discipline, control, and a fresh start. Special K Original does not look like children's cereal. No marshmallows, no frosting, no cartoon animals. The flakes are plain, thin, and serious. That visual restraint is its strongest health claim. The current label is not disastrous. A serving contains roughly 4 grams of added sugar and about 7 grams of protein. Compared with many products still ahead, that is restrained. The surprise is fiber. Special K Original provides only about 1 gram in a serving, even though many shoppers assume a serious-looking flake cereal must be a meaningful whole grain food. Look at the ingredient order. Rice appears first, followed by wheat gluten, sugar, and other ingredients used to create the crisp, light flake. The protein number is helped by concentrated wheat protein. That is legitimate nutrition, but it is not the same thing as a bowl built primarily from intact or fiber-rich whole grain. Low sugar does not automatically mean high quality. A cereal can avoid excessive sweetness and still leave little fiber in the bowl. Used on My Plate encourages Americans to make at least half their grains whole grains. Special K's identity feels broader than its grain structure delivers. If you enjoy it, add berries, nuts, or seeds and measure the portion. But do not buy it, because the plain flakes and red branding make it look nutritionally complete. Special K is a lower concern. The issue is not what it contains in excess, it is what the health image leads people to assume is already there. The box looks disciplined. The fiber number is not doing the same work. Number 9. Quaker Oatmeal Squares Brown Sugar. Quaker has one of the strongest grain identities in American food. The man in the hat, the word oatmeal, the square shape, and the promise of brown sugar create a breakfast that feels traditional before the bag is opened. Whole grain oat flour and whole wheat flour form the base. A serving provides around 5 grams of fiber and 6 grams of protein. This is not candy cereal wearing an oat costume. But the brown sugar flavor changes the calculation. The current label lists about 9 grams of added sugar per serving. Brown sugar sounds warmer and less industrial than sugar, but nutritionally, it is still added sugar. The body processes the name on the front differently from the number on the side. Your metabolism does not. The serving is also dense. These squares do not fill a bowl the way a light puffed cereal does. Pour by sight, and the portion can grow quickly. 2 labeled servings move the added sugar from 9 grams to 18, while the box still feels like an oatmeal breakfast. A 2021 analysis of the breakfast cereal aisle published in Nutrients found that cereal quality varies widely and that reformulation can improve some nutrients while leaving large differences in sugar, fiber, and whole grain content across products. Oatmeal Squares is a perfect example of why one-word judgments fail. It has whole grains. It has fiber. It also has enough added sweetness that portion size matters. This is not a cereal to fear. It is a cereal to stop treating like plain oatmeal. The oats are real. So is the sugar. Number 8. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Original Raisin Bran may be the most misunderstood box on this list because shoppers see one large sugar number and assume every gram came from the same place. It did not. The current label for Kellogg's Raisin Bran lists roughly 17 grams of total sugar in a 1-cup serving, but about 9 grams are added sugar. The rest comes largely from raisins. That distinction matters. Naturally occurring sugar inside fruit is not labeled as added sugar, and raisins also contribute nutrients and some fiber. The cereal has genuine strengths. Whole grain wheat and wheat bran provide around 7 grams of fiber. That is roughly 1/4 of the FDA daily value. A bowl can make a meaningful contribution toward a nutrient many Americans underconsume. Now look closer at the raisins. They are not simply dried grapes dropped into bran flakes. Sugar is used in the product, and sweetener also appears in the overall formula. The result is a cereal with a serious digestive health identity and a sweetness level that can surprise anyone who only noticed the word bran. Raisin Bran is not nutritionally equivalent to a low-fiber marshmallow cereal. Its fiber is real, but the health halo can still encourage a large pour without a serving size check. The lesson is not to avoid fruit. It is to separate total sugar from added sugar, and then judge the complete package. Fiber does not cancel sugar. Sugar does not erase fiber. Both numbers belong in the same decision. Raisin Bran gives you something valuable. It charges for it in sweetness. And the next cereal turns an even simpler whole grain into a frosted product while keeping the whole grain reputation on the front. Number 7. Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats Original Mini Wheats begins with one of the best foundations in the cereal aisle: whole grain wheat. The unfrosted version is difficult to criticize. It is simple, high in fiber, and built from a grain people recognize. Then comes the frosting. A current serving of original frosted mini wheats provides around 6 grams of fiber and approximately 12 grams of added sugar. The fiber is substantial. The sugar is also substantial. Both are true at the same time. The box often emphasizes whole grain, fiber, and the ability to keep a family going through the morning. Those claims are not invented. Fiber can support digestive health, and a 2019 series of systematic reviews and meta-analyses in The Lancet found that higher intake of dietary fiber and whole grains was associated with lower risk of several chronic disease outcomes. But that research does not say frosting becomes irrelevant when it sits on top of wheat. The labeled portion can contain about 25 biscuits. Count them once. A large bowl can hold much more, and the nutrition facts panel no longer describes that larger meal. This is why the product ranks in the lower half rather than near the top. It gives you real whole grain and real fiber. The issue is the transformation from wheat biscuit to sweetened breakfast. Compare it with an unfrosted shredded wheat sitting a few shelves away. The difference is not subtle. One lets the eater decide whether to add fruit or a small amount of sweetness. The other applies the sugar at the factory and builds the brand around it. Mini Wheats is not pretending the frosting is absent. The halo comes from allowing the wheat underneath to speak louder than the sugar on top. Whole grain is the foundation. Frosting is the business model. Number 6. Honey Bunches of Oats with Almonds. This is the cereal built from visual abundance. Flakes, crunchy clusters, oats, and sliced almonds all visible through the bowl on the front. It looks varied, textured, and closer to homemade granola than a uniform box of flakes. The name gives 4 reassuring signals at once. Honey, bunches, oats, almonds. Now read the numbers. A current 1-cup serving provides roughly 9 grams of added sugar, but only about 2 grams of fiber. That is the mismatch. The cereal looks grain-dense and nut-rich, yet the fiber return is modest for a product built around oats and almonds. Look at the ingredient order and you see why. The product uses a mixture of grains, sugar, sweeteners, oil, and small amounts of almonds to create its signature texture. The almond slices are real. The oats are real. But the picture can make those premium ingredients feel more dominant than they are. This is a classic health halo. With almonds, confirms almonds are present, not how much. Honey identifies a sweetener and flavor. It does not make added sugar nutritionally different from other added sugars. At around 2 grams of fiber, the cereal delivers less than 10% of the FDA daily value. A shopper looking for whole grain staying power may reasonably expect more from the bowl. Honey Bunches of Oats is popular because it tastes good. That is an honest reason to buy it. The problem begins when the cereal is selected as a high-fiber, nut-heavy health food without reading the panel. The bowl looks full of premium ingredients. The nutrition return is thinner than the picture. Number 5. Honey Nut Cheerios. Few cereals have a stronger health inheritance than Cheerios. The familiar O shape is connected in the public mind with oats, children, heart health, and first finger food. Honey Nut Cheerios takes that trusted base and adds sweetness, a bee mascot, and one of the most recognizable flavors in the aisle. Whole grain oats remain the first ingredient. The cereal provides around 3 grams of fiber and contains soluble fiber from oats. Those are genuine strengths. The problem is how far the flavored version moves from original Cheerios while keeping much of the same health halo. A current serving of Honey Nut Cheerios lists about 12 grams of added sugar. Original Cheerios contains around 1 gram. That is an 11-gram difference created largely by choosing the flavored yellow box instead of the plain one. The front still emphasizes whole grain and oat-related heart health language. The qualifying statement describes a broader dietary pattern and daily soluble fiber target, not protection from one sweetened bowl. The honey image also deserves perspective. Honey is an added sugar. It may provide flavor people prefer, but the body does not exempt it from the added sugar total because it came from a bee. At one serving, 12 grams equals 24% of the FDA daily value for added sugar. Pour 1.5 servings and the number reaches 18 grams. Add sweetened flavored milk and the breakfast changes again. Honey Nut Cheerios is not devoid of nutrition. That is exactly why the marketing works. The oats are real enough to support the image, while the sugar is easy to overlook because the brand already feels trusted. The heart halo stayed. The sugar moved. We are halfway through. If this investigation is changing how you read the cereal aisle, a quick like helps more families find it. The next 5 products are where protein, granola, and bran create some of the strongest health halos in the store. One of them delivers impressive fiber and protein while still carrying 13 grams of added sugar. And the number 1 cereal uses the word bran while reaching a sugar level many shoppers would never expect from the box. Number 4. Nature Valley Oats. And honey protein granola. Nature Valley owns the outdoors. Green packaging, mountain imagery, oats, honey, and the idea of portable energy. Move from the granola bar section to the cereal aisle, and the same identity follows the product. The protein granola adds another powerful word. Protein signals fullness, fitness, and a breakfast built to last. The product does provide meaningful protein. Depending on the current package, a serving delivers around 10 grams. That is a real advantage over many light flake cereals. But granola is dense. The serving is smaller than the bowl image many people carry in their head, and the calories, oils, and sweeteners are concentrated. Current versions of the oats and honey protein granola list double-digit added sugar in a labeled serving. The exact amount should be checked on the package in your store because formulas and serving sizes can change. The protein number can make the sugar feel secondary. It should not. Protein is not a permission slip for unlimited sweetness. A cereal can help meet one target while making another harder. Granola also creates a portion illusion. A 2/3 cup serving looks modest in a standard breakfast bowl. Many people pour until the bowl looks full, then add milk, yogurt, banana, or more honey. What began as a 10-gram protein serving can become 2 servings of a calorie-dense cereal before toppings are counted. Energy-dense food can suit hikers, athletes, and people needing a substantial breakfast. The mismatch appears when protein granola is treated as automatically lighter than ordinary cereal. Nature Valley gives you protein. It also gives you a product designed to be sweet, crunchy, and easy to keep eating. The mountain is on the box. The portion is in your hand. Number 3. Kashi Go Original. Kashi Go Original may be the most nutritionally complicated cereal in this countdown. The front advertises protein and fiber, and the numbers are impressive. A current serving provides roughly 12 grams of protein and 13 grams of fiber. That is nearly half the FDA daily value for fiber in one bowl. Those are not empty claims. The cereal uses whole grains, soy ingredients, and a dense blend of shapes and textures to deliver a level of protein and fiber that most mainstream cereals do not approach. For some shoppers, that balance may justify the product completely. Now read the added sugar line. The current label lists about 13 grams. That means the same serving can provide exceptional fiber and roughly 1/4 of the FDA daily value for added sugar. It is simultaneously strong and sweet. One nutrient cannot decide the whole box. The useful question is whether the complete trade fits your needs and whether the front made it obvious. The ingredients include multiple sources of sweetness used to bind and flavor the cereal. The crunch that makes Kashi Go more enjoyable than plain Bran does not appear by accident. A 2026 systematic review in Nutrition Reviews examined cereal fibers and satiety and emphasized that fiber type, food structure, and study design all matter. In other words, a large fiber number is useful, but it does not give one cereal a universal effect for every eater. Kashi Go ranks high because the wellness image is so strong that many shoppers never expect the added sugar number to resemble a sweetened family cereal. The fiber claim is real. The protein claim is real. The surprise is that the sugar is real too. Number 2. Quaker Simply Granola. Oats, honey, raisins, and almonds. The word simply may be the hardest working word on this box. Oats, honey, raisins, almonds. Every noun sounds like something you could place in a bowl at home. The packaging does not need a cartoon or a frosting splash. It sells simplicity. The current label tells a denser story. A 2/3 cup serving is around 270 calories and contains roughly 12 grams of added sugar, with additional naturally occurring sugar from raisins. It provides about 5 grams of fiber and several grams of protein, so the cereal is not nutritionally empty. But the portion is small enough that many breakfast bowls will hold substantially more. Granola is baked with sweeteners and oil to create clusters. Those clusters are the product. Without them, this would be loose oats, raisins, and almonds. The processing is not hidden, but the word simply encourages the buyer to imagine a recipe closer to a homemade handful than an engineered, shelf-stable cereal. Measure 2/3 of a cup and place it in your usual bowl. That visual test matters. If your normal pour is 1 1/3 cups, the meal becomes roughly 540 calories and 24 grams of added sugar before milk. That is nearly half the FDA daily value for added sugar in a breakfast, still carrying the word simply on the front. This does not make granola forbidden. It makes granola a food that should be portioned like granola, not poured like puffed rice. Raisins, almonds, and oats provide value. But every extra handful carries more than the front suggests. The ingredients sound like a pantry list. The serving behaves like a dessert cluster. Number 1. Kellogg's Cracklin Oat Bran. Oat Bran sounds like the answer to every concern raised in this video. Oats for whole grain, Bran for fiber. A dark, serious box without marshmallows, neon loops, or a cartoon promising sugar. This is the cereal adults buy when they believe they have left children's cereal behind. That is why the number on the label is so surprising. A current serving of Cracklin Oat Bran provides around 8 grams of fiber. That is valuable. It also lists approximately 16 grams of added sugar. 16 grams is nearly 1/3 of the FDA daily value in one labeled serving. It is more added sugar than many shoppers expect from a cereal whose identity is built around bran. The ingredient list explains the texture. Whole grain oats and wheat bran form the nutritional foundation. Sugar, coconut, oil, and flavoring help create the dense, sweet crunch that makes the cereal taste less like plain bran and more like a cookie-shaped cluster. Again, the fiber does not disappear. This is not a nutrition-free product. But the gap between expectation and formulation is larger than anywhere else on the list. A bowl marketed around oat bran can deliver 4 teaspoons worth of added sugar. Pour more than the labeled amount, and the number climbs quickly. Add a sweetened coffee drink beside it, and breakfast begins carrying the sugar load of a dessert without ever looking like one. Bran sounds healthy. Granola sounds natural. Protein sounds complete. None tells you the added sugar number. Cracklin Oat Bran is number 1 because it proves the central point better than any brightly colored cereal could. The healthiest looking word on the front cannot overrule the clearest number on the side. Now that you know what to reconsider, here are 5 better picks. These are not magical foods. They still have serving sizes. Some are fortified, some are highly processed, and some may cost more. They make the list because the grain foundation, added sugar level, and label promise are easier to reconcile. Better pick number 5, Original Cheerios. The simplest upgrade may be sitting beside the product you already buy. Original Cheerios keeps whole grain oats as the foundation and contains around 1 gram of added sugar per serving instead of the roughly 12 grams in Honey Nut Cheerios. It also provides several grams of fiber, including soluble oat fiber. That 11-gram difference matters more than most brand changes because the shape, texture, availability, and family familiarity remain almost identical. Add milk or yogurt for more protein and fruit, or nuts for texture. Original Cheerios gives the household control over sweetness instead of applying it at the factory. The better choice is not always a premium natural food brand. Sometimes it is the plain version of a familiar cereal. Same aisle, same basic oat, far less added sugar. Better pick number 4, Nature's Path Heritage Flakes. Heritage Flakes is the option for shoppers who want a more substantial flake without moving into a heavily sweetened granola. The cereal uses a blend of whole grains and provides a stronger fiber return than most mainstream flakes. The current label contains some added sugar, so this is not a zero-sugar product, but the balance is more defensible. Multiple whole grains, meaningful fiber, and sweetness that does not dominate the formula. The organic seal is regulated, but it does not automatically beat every conventional cereal. Heritage Flakes makes the list because of the complete label, not the seal alone. It stays crisp, has more texture than Special K, and can be mixed with an unsweetened cereal if you want to reduce sweetness further. This box does not win because it says Heritage. It wins because the numbers support more of the story. Better pick number 3. Post Grape Nuts. Original Grape Nuts is dense, plain, and almost impossible to pour carelessly once you understand the serving. A current half-cup serving provides about 7 grams of fiber, roughly 6 grams of protein, and no added sugar. The ingredient list is short, built mainly from whole grain wheat flour, malted barley flour, salt, and yeast. The trade-off is sodium and density. A half cup does not look large, and this is not a cereal to pour without measuring. But the product makes its structure clear. There is no frosting, honey coating, or dessert flavor using whole grain as cover. Add berries for sweetness. Let it soften in milk or yogurt. Measure the half cup. Grape Nuts does not look exciting. That may be its most honest feature. Better pick number 2, Kashi 7 Whole Grain Puffs. This is Kashi without the sugar-driven crunch. 7 whole grain puffs uses a blend of grains and contains no added sugar. A serving is light in calories, provides a modest amount of fiber and protein, and lets the eater decide what flavor belongs in the bowl. The comparison with Kashi Go is instructive. The same company can sell one cereal with exceptional fiber and protein plus double-digit added sugar, and another with a simpler grain profile and no added sweetness. The puffs will not taste like granola clusters. That is the trade. Add cinnamon, fruit, nuts, or a small measured amount of another cereal. A better pick does not have to maximize every nutrient. It has to stop one positive claim from hiding a negative one. Here, the ingredient list and the taste tell the same story. Better pick number 1. Post-shredded wheat original. The number 1 pick is almost aggressively simple. Original unfrosted shredded wheat is built from whole grain wheat. No added sugar. Meaningful fiber. No need for a heart, a mountain, a bee, or the word protein in giant letters. Depending on whether you choose big biscuit or spoon size, the serving and exact fiber number differ, so check the box. The principle remains the same. Whole grain is not one feature added to the cereal. Whole grain is the cereal. This is the product Frosted Mini Wheats begins with before the sugar coating is applied. The flavor is plain. That gives you control. Add berries, sliced banana, cinnamon, nuts, or a measured teaspoon of sugar. Even 1 teaspoon added at home is only 4 grams, far below the 12 or 16 grams built into several products on the avoid list. People with celiac disease or wheat allergy must avoid it. Others may add dairy, soy milk, yogurt, nuts, or seeds for more protein. But for the average shopper looking for a widely available cold cereal with a strong whole grain foundation and no added sugar, it is difficult to find a clearer label. 1 grain, no frosting, no nutritional theater. That is why it finishes first. Final shopping rule. Here is the fastest way to read a cereal box. Ignore the front for 10 seconds. Turn to the nutrition facts panel and check the serving size. Then check added sugar, not only total sugar. Total sugar can include sugar naturally present in raisins or other fruit. Added sugar tells you what was introduced during manufacturing. Next, check fiber. The FDA daily value is 28 grams. 2 grams of fiber in a cereal covered with whole grain imagery is not the same as 6, 7, or 8. Then read the first 3 ingredients. Made with whole grain does not tell you whether whole grain dominates the formula. Look for whole wheat, whole oats, or another whole grain near the beginning. Compare protein, but do not let it end the conversation. A high-protein cereal can still be high in added sugar. A low-sugar cereal can still be low in fiber. No single number gets to declare the entire box healthy. Watch the bowl. The nutrition facts panel describes a measured serving, not whatever fits beneath the rim. Granola is especially dense. Measure it once so your eyes learn what the label means. Research supports benefits from whole grains and fiber, but packaging can influence perceptions, particularly for children, and health claims can create a halo larger than the product deserves. You do not need to ban cereal. You need to stop letting the front of the box make the decision before the back gets a chance to speak. The cartoon sells attention. The heart sells reassurance. The word protein sells strength. The word Bran sells health. The serving size, added sugar, fiber, and first 3 ingredients tell you what is actually in the bowl. Buy the numbers, not the mood.